Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Welcome to all the guests. I love this email. I almost did it, just came in right before, so I'm throwing it in here. Rabbi Isai, check this out. I actually forwarded it to you, right? I loved it so I don't know if I'll make it, but I forwarded it. That is a whole, I have to talk to you about that one. That's controversial. L'chvoid Moiri V'Rabbi Shlita. I want to share an interesting story that happened in our night kollel in Lakewood. I'm in kollel made up of Yingalayt from BMG. So naturally, when I began learning with you around a year ago, I didn't feel compelled to let anyone else know. Well, one day a few months ago, as I'm opening my Gemara to start night Seder, I began humming Rav Nachman's opening tune to the shir to myself under my breath. When suddenly, to my surprise, a guy sitting on my table in the next chavrusa shaft continues the tune. I looked over and raised my eyebrows as if to say, "You too?" To make a long story short, but half the kollel has been doing your shir. You could ask Mendy. I had the same exact story here in Eretz Yisrael, in one of the most Haredi shuls down the block. We now make sure not to start Seder without first going over that day's AI video, email, joke, Var Torah, Gadol Maisa, and of course the actual daf. Thank you, Rebelli, for giving a very sprinkleable warmth to an otherwise kalte chevra. P.S. I just wanted to say on the topic of anu tasim v'heim tasim, I was recently on a flight when I noticed that Yidden on flights do one of three things. 1, sleep. 2, watch movies. 3, watch MDY. Period, nothing else. I feel honored and proud to be part of such an amazing and incredible family with an equally amazing and incredible Rosh HaMishpacha, Yasher Koyach Elio Slamowitz, Sanhedrin 68.
Very nice.
This is another beautiful one. L'chvoid Rav Eli Shlita, it is actually hard for me to believe that I've been Baruch Hashem learning with you online to close to an entire Daf Yomi cycle. I'm going to stick in a half because it doesn't chap. 7.5 years ago, one of my sons sent me a clip of your amazing story that you said while doing Daf Ayin Beis Menachos, not waiting to start. It's the story when I went to the Kais of 40 days. I looked it up today. To just get started, the moment you have an inspiration or opportunity, at the 12-minute mark of Ayin Beis, last cycle, for the past 7 years, I have a stick-it note on my desk to remind me of this powerful lesson. And it has really inspired me many times to just do things right away rather than wait for some other time. It says over here on his note, Menachos Daf Ayin Beis, minute 12. That's his note. There's something more important, though, that I owe you a thank you for. 2, honestly, at first glance, I may be an absolute disaster for MDY. I'm Baruch Hashem my 4th cycle of Daf Yomi without missing. I do Yerushalmi Daf Yomi too, and I've not been late on Shnai Mikra since I'm 15. A true train wreck for an MDY. You turned around my life success story. Sorry about that. I want to thank you though, because with all the discipline, structure, and schedule that Hashem has granted me the opportunity to keep, this is the first time that I've learned the full cycle with a smile. And what a difference that makes. Learning with the simcha and joy is what makes your shir so unique. It's a whole different experience. And for that, and it is for that reason that I love the shir and use the shir to review the daf each day at my desk. May Hashem grant you the strength to keep growing this unbelievable Torah empire. Kol Tov, Atzlacha Rabba, YM. Okay? I'll try to remember.
No, don't try.
Huh?
Don't.
Every day. All right. What about this diamond? I love this Maisa. Leza Tarlo, Rebelli. This house is so special to me. This is my daughter's home in Park City, Utah, because it's where I came to chap you for the Centers app, and instead you chapped me 175 dafim ago. I've learned more Gemara since I met you here than in my entire marriage combined, and that, let's just say, it's more than 2 decades. As you would say, special alot to Akiva Ziegler. Rabbi say, a Maisa Shahaya. I see him. I don't know. Now I see him. I saw him coming in. Rabbi say, listen to the story. It doesn't happen often, but it happens once in a while. Akiva Ziegler was coming from Yerushalayim yesterday to make it to the shir, and he punched in our address, but he forgot to put in the exact address. So he wrote Nachal Noam. So Waze took him to Nachal Noam, to the actual stream, to the actual Nachal Noam. I'm not kidding you. We don't know where it is, but it's up north somewhere. He shows up after davening. He's like, I'm here. He just made a trip up north. Something like that. What? It's a vineyard. It's a vineyard. There's a guy here from our shul. I'm not going to say any names, but he flew to Poland, and he put in the address in Waze, and it said 8 hours from the airport, and he knew it was 8 hours from the airport. So he went there. 8 hours later, they told him, no. He comes, there's like a field. He says, no. 8 hours in the other direction. So he had to drive back to the airport and 8 hours that way. All right, Rabbi Isai. This is a guy from Slobodka, Yeshiva Slobodka, the last one, and he writes, "Kvoid Moiri v'Rabbi, Rabbi Elio. I'm a Talmud of Slobodka, and in Ben Azman I was zoicha to see some of the sweetness of the Torah and Yediyas HaTorah." The Kitzer, and he starts talking about, he brings up Salach over there, Moshe Bretsky. The Daf from the official edition MDY Shas is sponsored by Aaron Schwartz for the merit of all Am Yisrael to continue receiving Hashem's blessings. The daily sponsors, thank you Hashem, Hatzlacha and Parnasa, and Refuah Shleima L'chol Choylei Am Yisrael, Amen. Anonymous for a speedy and healthy birth, Amen. Lex B, in honor of Robert J. Savitz, respect, belief, and love for every type of Yid, hashtag Ayin Tov, hashtag thank you Hashem. Merriam-Webster in celebration of the new word sprinkable. That's the Webster. Is that how you spell Merriam?
That's what you worried about?
He wasn't Jewish.
Merriam-Webster. I have a feeling it's Aryeh. Is that you?
It wasn't.
Merriam-Webster, it's a good line. He likes these. In celebration of the new word sprinkable. Lakewood MDY ambassador, thank you Hashem for the birth of our healthy baby girl. And the other 30 sponsorships will follow on 1.5 speed, Bezer Hashem, Zaykazon. Official edition of MDY Shots Masechta by the Iranian Levy family's Perik Anonymous. Lili Nishma Zachariah Ben Moshe. Masechta sponsor David Salomon. Dedicated memory of Avi Merib Shmuel Borg Merib Chaim Tzvi Deutsch Chron Levracha. Masechta sponsors Joel Gedalis. Lili Nishma my father Jack Gedalis. Anonymous. Haslacha Beruchnis Vagashmis. The Palchik Family Foundation. Zech Nishma Rav Goyim Shlomo Palchik. The Metchetzer Eloi. Anonymous, Refuah Shleima Moshe Ben Izah. Anonymous, for complete Refuah Shleima and Arichas Yom Talei Bas Esther Yisrael Malki. Toilet Dar Spichom Alpi Zav Chesed. We're so proud of you. Yaakov Mordechai, keep steiging. Send the Gross family. Can be Island UK in honor of Rebellion. You changed my meaning of life. Plenty Almighty. Yossi Mark and Benny and all the Oiskim at Tzorchem DY. Kishbok Yishalom Scharim. Monthly sponsors: Ari Simon, Refuah Shleima, Avi Mori, Baruch Ben Miriam, Jamie Azulai, Refuah Shleima, Esther Bas Luna, Moshe Aaron and Miriam Landy. Heard Lashem Kitov. Kilo Olam Chazdo. Anonymous, Refuah Shleima, Chali Herzman, Henry Leah, Hidden Salik in our generation. Anonymous and Miriam Azal, Bat Lebus, and Nada in Hiskia. Anonymous, the schos of verdict that is good and open and revealed way. Rios Mordechai ben Batileah, Yehudis and Yehuda Lewis as the schos for everyone in need of a shidduch. Amen. Anonymous for the merit of Michal Ben Yisrael, Yosef, success and blessing in all areas of life. Shprintzin Alan Gross, Lilishma Shleim Zalman Ben Yitzchok Isaac, Ben Yovan Isaac Ben Tzvi Hirshak Koyer, for Shleima Yohana Tanetam Ben Mesheva Bracha. Anonymous for the merit of Shleima from Malka Baschaya, Centers.com, helping Yidden Dam Tzibor with Papa Ben Yonim anywhere worldwide. Lilishma Chaim Shalom Ben Betzalel. Weekly sponsors: Alex, Abby, and Rivka Sarugo. To Isaac and Diana Bemurgi, your love and support mean everything to us. We love you. MDY Art Month. Yosef Ben Chai Sar for Parnas Bereba. For Shleima Yohana Tanetam Ben Mesheva Bracha. For Shleima Mordechai Ben Esther. For Hayeled Daniel Zev Ben Hayeled Esther. Rabbi said we have one of the most beautiful dapim in Menachos. I love this daf. I love this daf. If you pay attention, you keep awake for 5 minutes. In the middle, I'll tell you when, you'll have tremendous hana. We're holding Daf Chav Gimel Amud Aleph on top. Itmar. We know that there's something called a minchas choyta. It's a mincha. You bring a carbon to Hashem, just flour. Why? Because you sinned. You did some sort of aveira that you can't afford a real carbon. So Hashem says, okay, you get an oil of a yored, you can bring flour. If that's all you could afford, bring flour. Now, this flour, as the Torah says, you're not allowed to add the typical oil and frankincense, the shemen v'levina. You just give it as is, flour. He goes ahead, and the kohen takes the kmitza as so, and then adds a little oil to it. What's the halacha? Did he ruin it? Rabbi Yochanan or Apostle, you ruined it. The Torah says no oil, no oil. What's the problem? Even if he didn't add any oil by mistake or on purpose, you're supposed to add some oil. You do shikshuch, you do something like this. You take a bowl that was already used for a mincha. If you look closely, I don't know, maybe you'll be able to see. Here you go. You see like a little remnants of oil. And that's the bowl that you do a minchas choyta in. You're supposed to do it. Here, you go like this. So what's the problem to add oil? He says. You're already using oil, so what's an afkimina? Well, so then to do it, l'chatchila, you're supposed to put it in such a bowl. So then what's the problem to just add a little oil? As the Gemara, but the pasuk says mefurish v'aksiv lo yosim aleh shemen. You're not supposed to add any oil, v'lo yitin aleh levoin, and don't put on top of it any frankincense. No, ahosh lo yikba lo shemen kichavrisel. Before the kmitza, don't add any oil. But with the kmitza, you put it in. It says Rish Lakish, you're supposed to use such a bowl, so then you could add a little oil also. Hey, so Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish, chorev shenis'arev b'bowl. Charev means a dry mincha. Balul is a moist mincha. So, if I were to ask anybody in the room, give me an example of a mincha chareva. Then everybody says chayta. Everybody's going to say chayta. Then we just talk. Oh, so here we have a raya to our question. We have a mincha chareva that was mixed in chorish and zal bebalul yakriv. You could be makriv it. Rabbi Yehuda lo yakriv. Now, this you have to stick in. Rashi explains that first of all, the question is according to Rabbi Yehuda. First of all, it says lo yakriv. But even according to Chacham that say that you should be makriv, it's only because of the concept that we had yesterday that one carbon cannot be mevatel in another carbon. So you have two menachos. One is a charv, one is a bowl. Then one is not going to make a problem for the other, and you don't say, oh, this one absorbed oil and this one did it. No, you put them both on. But if you add outside oil, it's problematic. Even Chacham would admit, lo yakriv. That's the Gemara's question. And my lav, like everybody here in the room thought right away, what does chareva mean? A dry mincha, which doesn't have any oil, which touch and here we have a raya that you're not supposed to be makriv it. And the Rish Lakish said you're supposed to be makriv it. You could be makriv it. Lo, you made a mistake. Minchas chareva, yes. Initially, the first thing that comes to your mind is minchas chayta. Wait a minute. I just noticed that there's a Gemara on the bottom of the screen. How long?
Years.
Dave is doing it.
Dave, you're doing it? How long are you doing it? A week? Okay, don't tell me where. It's in the Hebrew for a year, but now, Shalom Aleichem Rebavi. Shalom. I look at you in a whole new light now. You went to Safari, right? You're a Safari Yid. Okay, that's it.
He also gave a bris to a 2.5-year-old yesterday.
Two and a half year old?
Yeah.
Oh, not because they couldn't, because they didn't know. They didn't. 2.5-year-old kid. Wow. Wow, that's even harder probably than a 20-year-old. I'm serious. No? 2.5-year-old? Just a little. I've seen them taking a haircut by the chalakis. I can imagine a bris. My love, koyim is the minchas choyte the yar, but koyim is the minchas nedafa.
Yeah.
My love, I should have put in Ariel's thing. He sent me a clip. I forgot to put it in. When you guys were singing Elon Elon, all three of you were beating to the same drum. You're like this. And now also, only the three, like the four of you were laughing, nobody else, like they're in a different world. Okay. My love, the koyim is the minchas choyte the yar, but koyim is the minchas nedava. Loi! Check this out. When you bring a sheep as a carbon, you have to bring 3 lug shemen for every yisaron. And for a cow, it's 2 lug of oil for every yisaron. Now it happens to be that there's more yisronim for a cow. So there's going to be more oil. But relatively speaking, per handful, per kmitza, there's going to be a lot more oil, a third more, or I don't know math, but something like that, whatever it is. Is it a third mel? Milagav, okay, whatever, milagav, milabar. But there's going to be, I don't know if that's the right word, relative.
Only the top. The bottom is confusing. You see
The bottom just tells me how much this total oil, so don't.
Look at the top.
Top. Over here, for the cow, for the sheep, it's 3 lug of oil per every sarn, and for the cow, it's only 2. That's what I mean by charev. If a mincha of a cow gets mixed up with a mincha of a sheep, the sheep has much more oil, and that's why you shouldn't put it on the mizbeach, because now you're taking, one is absorbing oil from the other, so one has less oil than necessary, and one has more oil than necessary, both problematic halachically. And therefore what? And there's no raya about our question about a minchas chayta. The whole question was, a kaimitz of minchas chayta, What's Allah? Rabbi Yochanan wanted to bring a raya from this brisa that says charev shenisar bebal. But charev does not mean minchas chayta. It could also mean the cow's mincha, which is charev compared to the sheep. Ask the Gemara, but how could that be? In the brisa itself, it mentions both cases. La minchas parim ve'elim ki minchas kvasim bi minchas kvasim. Case number one, cows mixed with sheep. And then a second later, the next word is v'charev shenisar b'bol. Yikrav. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, lo yikrav. But how can you tell me that it's talking that charev means a cow when it says cow mefurish parim ve'elim, and then a second later it says v'char. It's actually one sentence. It means parim ve'elim and michas kvasim, which one is called a charev and the other one is called a bol. It's not two separate cases. By Rava, another gishmaki question. You take the kmitza, which is, in this case, is a dough mixed with oil, and you give it a nice kvetch somehow. I don't know, it seems hard to do, but you squeeze it in a way that you squeeze out oil from it. We even have a little bit of depiction here. And you put the oil on a tree. Put it on a plate, let's say. And then you take the flour, the dough, after you're done, you put it on top of the oil. Question is, can you combine the two? Or once you squeezed out the oil, it's no longer part of the kmitza, and therefore you can't be makriv it here. Something like this. He squeezed out the oil onto a tree, and then he puts the dough on top of it. Are they connected now, or not? What?
As soon as you squeeze it out, it became duckling. So it's that
I hear. Interesting. I don't know why it's dachui, because you can just combine it. That's not dachui.
But right before I combined it.
And right before is dachui.
Right?
I'm saying it's there, it's available. I don't think it's dachui lahalacha. If I could just go like this, why is it dachui? I hear. All right. I hear. I'm not convinced, but I hear. There's two pshatim Rashi. We'll go with the first one. We like to go with the first one. When you connect the two things, oil in this case is not a carbon. You connect one to the other, it's as if they're connected. You can put it on the mizbeach. It's not, they're not connected. I have something very similar. Isn't it another famous question of Rabbi Yochanan Here, let me show you this video. You tell me what the halach is. This is a kazayis total. Meat and bone. Kazayis total. He takes it. A little bit of exaggeration, not a big one. If a kohen could throw a feather 20 amma, 40, 50 feet, he probably could take a thing and throw it through 3,000. Fine. Oh. Straight to the Olympics. I'll go on him. Here's the question. In this particular case, the meat is not a full kazayis, but together with the bone, it's kazayis. You took a piece of meat and you brought it out to the Beis Hamikdash. You put it on a bum in your backyard, whatever you did with it, you're chayiv, says Rabbi Yochanan. Rish Lakish says you're potter. Rabbi Yochanan chayiv chibur oil and koilim dam. The bone is connected to the meat, and together you have a kazayis chayiv. Rish Lakish amar potter chibur and oil and lav koilim dam. So this is an old question. What he asked me a new question. Can I combine two parts and make them one? Says the Gemara, there's no connection. If you think about it for a second, you'll see there's no connection. It still remains a question by us. Why? Over there we're talking about a bone, the mina the basaru. Everybody knows that an animal's born with bones. Bones are all part of it. Yes, you don't want to eat it. Sometimes you remove it. Fine, but it's part of it. But this oil has nothing to do with the flour. You now you separated the two. Now you can't combine them back. Maybe Rish Lakish said it by a bone, because a bone is something that if it falls out, he parish lav mitzvah dure. Let's say you're bringing oil onto the mizbeach. We had it before. We're not going to show it again. You're walking up the ramp and one of the bones falls out. There's no mitzvah to put it back on. You don't put it back on. Aval shemen the lav bar mifrash hu loy. If it falls, you're supposed to put it back in. It doesn't.
Derech to fall.
Okay, the derech. I don't know if it's derech.
It pops off from the fire.
That's something else. Okay.
No,
that's what he's saying over there.
Yeah, it's darkoy.
Interesting. Okay. Ideal Maloishna, or perhaps there's no difference between the two cases, and if in one case we say oilim koilim or oilim lav koilim, whatever you hold in the case of a meat and a bone, you'd hold the same thing by flour and oil. Teiku, very good. We'll just pause for a second because going in, we have Shalom Aleichem. What's your name again?
Yosef King.
Right from Brooklyn. I've seen you 100 times before. Just bad with names. Where did I see you last? Don't tell me the Shabbaton. But you were at Shiurim. You came to the Smedrish probably once before, no? Yeah, okay. Givaldi. Who else do we have here? We have Akiva Ziegler. That Baruch Hashem made it to Nachal. By the way, as if you're watching the shir and you're coming as a guest, Rav Moshe Zarek, Shalom Aleichem. I have to Shalom Aleichem, Refuah Shleima. Thank you for coming back. What's the name for Refuah Shleima?
Moshe David ben Feger Rachel.
Moshe David ben Feger Rachel, Refuah Shleima. Our road right here is going through massive construction. It's not a good idea to park here. So if you're coming as a guest, find out from other people when we're done with the construction. Meanwhile, there's a very large parking lot in the beginning of the road. Before you make the turn into Nachal Noam, there's a giant parking lot, 40 spots probably, right across the street. And you just have to walk up the street. It'll be a lot easier and faster than trying to get into this road. There's tractors and workers, and they're doing a whole plumbing situation here. So just you'll get stuck on the way out, guaranteed, and then whatever. Not kedai. Zok de'elige Mishnah. Shtei menachos shlei nikmitzu v'nes arvo zu b'zu. Two menachos. I even have a little bit of a picture here. If you have two menachos that are touching, that fell into each other, and you didn't take the kmitza yet, right? From every one of the menachos, you have to take a kmitza. Here we go. Boom. So, depending. If you could take a kmitza easily, in other words, they're not mixed in so much, you could take a kmitza. I told Yoshi I'd rather do it from the right side. He said it's way too hard for him to change at, 11 o'clock at night. So we left it as is. I just didn't like the fact that he took the kmitza from where they touch each other. Let's call that center spot, that's already... Halachically, what he did is okay, because he took from the top. It's very... I want to make it clear. Take the kmitza all the way from the right. Take the kmitza all the way from the left. And then you're good. Later on, if you turn to Daf Chav Daled, you'll see a picture in the Shita Mekubet says, he goes something like this, that's like two combs. But okay, right now we're understanding they're like touching each other at one point. That's fine. If you can do kmitza from the right and kmitza from the left, great. But if it got all mixed in, then you can't do anything about it, because the pasuk says, and each one you have to take the kaimitz from itself and not from its friend, and it will become puzzle. Next case. 3 cases. You took the kmitza, you did what you're supposed to, and then it fell in to another bowl of a mincha that nobody did anything with it. Lo yakter, there's no mitzvah to put that on the fire. However, vim hikter, if you went ahead and you threw it onto the mizbeach, at the end of the day, your kmitza went onto the mizbeach. So you're yoytze chayva. The other guy, whatever. And of course, the one that the kmitza fell into, there was never a kmitza taking from it, because you cannot take a kmitza, because you might be taking the first kmitza. So that guy has to bring another mincha completely. Okay.
Why shouldn't you be makter?
What?
Why shouldn't you be makter? At least you get the...
You could, but you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to.
Because they were together?
Well, what?
Oh, it's a chassid. What do you have to lose?
They were together.
You don't have to. Not that what you have to lose. Rashi says you don't have to. It's not that it's also. Right, that's about oil bailam. Of course. You're asking what's the chiddush?
Yeah.
The chiddush is that the other guy doesn't get anything out of it.
It's also pasha.
Okay, maybe you don't have a right to take the other guy's mincha. Probably you don't have a right to take the other. It's not yours. It's not yours to put on. Who are you to put it? He brought it to the mizbeach. It's his. You stop chapping his mincha because you have an issue. I don't know. Nisar of kumtza b'shiarel. I would suggest you wait. You wait to the next sugya. Leave all your questions. They're coming up. Yeah. Now, same idea. There's a kmitza taken. It's ready to go on the mizbech, but it fell back into its original bowl. Now you have Issa Deraisa. There's Issa Deraisa of Loisak Tiru that you're not allowed to be maktir the shirayim. Once you take a kmitza, that goes on. That's the carbon. The rest is Loisak Tiru. You're not allowed to put the rest on the mizbech. So your kmitza fell back into the original bowl, into the shirayim part, into the part that the kohanim is supposed to eat. Or another mincha shirayim, the same idea. Lo yaktir, it's aser. V'mhiktir, even though it's aser, but at the end of the day, the kmitza went onto the mizbech. This Rabbi Isai brings us into a sugya that we actually touch. It's interesting how there's some sort of flow here of min b'minoi batal, roiv, bittul b'roiv. And we're going to bring rayas from this Mishnah from the three cases. But I think it's very, very fascinating. It's a very gishmak sugya, but you have to pay attention for a minute. Literally. The whole sugya is like 60 seconds. And then there's a lot of repetition on Ahmed Beis. Yossi Klein was in my house. He slept there 2 nights, Baruch Hashem, Bemis, and he told me, he says, I wonder what how you explained the shiurim back then. So I went there, I looked through, I pulled out my folder, and I found something nice. I could find it here. Oh, yeah, it's this. 2 things I want to show you. This was from the shiur back then. I learned how to, I'm not an artist, so I went on to YouTube, how do you draw a shark, a whole thing. Okay? Spend time back then. There's a mevatel and a bottle. There's a little guy here you can't even see. The mevatel is the majority, always. A mevatel is the majority, and the bottle is the minority. Because when it comes to being mevatel something, when you want to bittul b'roiv, everybody knows bittul b'roiv, bottle b'shishim. What does that mean? You take the majority, and the majority overcomes the minority. So you have, I don't know, a piece of chametz that falls into a pot. The majority pot is going to try to get it, not get it. But it's always the mevatel versus the bottle. Okay, that's where the mevatel is the roiv, is the majority, the bottle is the miut. According to Rav Chisda, as we're going to see, this is the whole sugya right here. According to Rav Chisda, we always go by the mevatel. Always. We look at the mevatel. And according to Rav Chanina, we always go by the bottle. So here's a murder. Here's the thing. I gave a mashal yesterday. Menachos came to me afterwards, gave me a little bit of a hard time. But this guy gave me a check this out. It's in Hebrew. So you don't understand Hebrew? I'll explain. There's a guy. He's a Satmar Chassid. What's his name? Yitzchak Lebovits. He put this on his status and it went flying. I got it from 3 different people. He comes prepared. I don't like those guys because he knows all the answers. I ask a question. He's in the Hebrew shiur. He sits in the Hebrew shiur every single day. He actually gave a sponsorship for a month.
טוב חבר'ה, ערב טוב, תקשיבו טוב, אני
He's all excited.
אין דברים כאלו.
Nothing like this.
סחבתי לשיעור של רב אלי סטפנסקי בתחילת סבורכים. גם עד היום השיעורים זה משהו מטורף מה שעשה לי בחיים. אבל היום הזה, חברים, מנוחס דף קוף גיבל. השיעור היום, המשתי של קמיצה, מין במין ומין בשאינו מינוי, עם הרעיון שלו שיהודי וגוי, שיהודי בחיים לא יכול להיות גוי וגוי יכול להיות יהודי. בשנייה אחת פתר לי את כל הבעיה, אני יום וחצי דופק את הראש, מנסה להגיד את הגמרא, ובשנייה פתר את זה חבר'ה, ואתם רוצים להרגיש גשמק, רוצים להרגיש אנרגיה חברים, אנרגיה! תצטרפו לשיעור חבר'ה, תצטרפו לדף, לא לדף, ליומי, אתם תרגישו אנרגיה כל היום חבר'ה, בדיוק כמוני חבר'ה, אני אומר לכם, פשוט מאוד, תתחברו.
Okay, check this out. Here we go. Very, very simple, Rabbi. This is just another yesod in the sugya. It explains a lot. A Jew, Rabbi say, a Jew can never. You guys want to schmooze over there? You're gonna miss the whole sugya. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna miss the whole thing. You have, don't come to it's tzaddik. Don't tzaddik. Hello. You can't come to me after shir and ask me a question if you're not gonna listen now. Listen clear. A Jew can never become a goy. Never. I don't care if you try to, what is it called? You can baptize and convert and whatever. You can never become a Jew. But a goy can become a Jew. Convert. You hear this? That's the yisai there in the sugya. A Jew can never become a goy. A goy could become a Jew. So, if you take that to meat, kosher meat is like a Jew. Kosher meat can never become an avela, no matter what you do to it. It could touch 25 nevelas afterwards. It cannot become an avela. It was shechted. It's kosher meat. Non-kosher meat, an avela, could become a shachot. Could. How? When it spoils. Because non-kosher meat, time out. Non-kosher meat has tumah. An avela has tumah. When you don't shecht a cow, it drops dead. It emits tumah. You touch it, become tamei. If it touches food, it becomes tamei. Humans become tamei. But when it decomposes, eventually after 2 months, the tumah is going to evaporate from it. In other words, the tamei becomes tahar. The nevela becomes shachot. A shachot can never become a nevela.
Not shachot, becomes not tummy.
Yeah. Correct. Okay, for tumah. Meaning for you can't eat it anyway. It's decomposed. Decomposed. But in terms of the tumah, it lost its tumah. Okay. So now says the Gemara like this. Omer Rav Chizda. Oh, time out. We have a little bit of a. If you didn't understand this, you saw it here. It's all in AI. You can become a ger. A guy can become a ger. Now, this is where it becomes tricky. This is counterintuitive, and I need you to understand this. It's super important and very easy, but it's counterintuitive. When this guy becomes a Jew, and he becomes part of them, he becomes min b'minoi. He becomes the same as them. But here's what's counterintuitive. When you become the same as them, you cannot be like them. Your tumah remains in you. If you're tamei, you see that's the only trick here. That's where people get confused. On the one hand, he becomes like them, but he cannot become batel to them. Whatever he has before, his tumah that he brings to the party remains. They're not going to be able to overcome his tumah. If they are min b'she'enoi minoi, like this case, if you keep the chassid separate from the guy, they're actually going to be mevatel him. It's counterintuitive. They are going to overcome him. You hear? Min b'she'enoi minoi is batel. Min b'minoi is not batel. It messes with your head because you think, oh, we embraced him. He became Jewish. He's like us. Yeah, but when you become like us, it's bad. Two bloods, we learned yesterday, two bloods are never batel. Never. They look the same. They are the same. If you have this amount of blood in a giant barrel of chulin blood, you can still spray it on the mizbeach because one doesn't become batel with the other. Min b'minoi loy batel. It's a fuch al hafuch. It's counterintuitive. That's the little trick here. And I think if we know all these yisoidus.
In kashrus, that's the way it is? Min b'minoi is not batel.
We're going to see. According to Rabbi Yehuda. No, that's according to Rabbi Yehuda. And we have to see according to that's one of the things the Gemara is going to try to. So yisoid number one is this is a mevatel, this is a batel. This is the larger amount and the smaller amount. What do we go by? What do we care? Who do we care? According to Rav Chizda, we always care about the mevatel. According to Rav Chanina, we always care about the batel. The other thing is that there are some things that eventually change. Like non-nevela meat changes in terms of its tumah, it evaporates later on. but kosher meat can never change to become a nevela. And also, you have to remember, for this, according to this shita, min b'minoi, if it's the same, if eventually, so here's the thing, if non-kosher meat, nevela meat, turns into kosher meat, it's terrible, because now it's the same min, they're all the same min, and they're not batal. But if one is not batal, for whatever reason, yes.
Even if there's right.
It depends on what we're looking at. If we're looking at the batal or mevatal. So here, I'm going to give you a good case here. Omar Rav Chizda. This is the whole sugya. If you know these things, that's the whole sugya basically. I think it goes back and forth a little bit, but that's it. Omar Rav Chizda, nevela betela b'shchuta. Check this out. This is a very simple case, and all the cases are simple. Oh no, you're asking questions already? Okay, no questions now. Here we go. This is a simple case of 2 kosher pieces of meat and 1 nevela piece of meat. Does the nevela become batal to the roiv? The Torah says, "Achirav and lahatois," you always go by the roiv. So the kosher should overcome the nevela, and therefore, in terms of tumah, if you were to touch one of the 3 pieces and you have no idea which is the tameh, which is not, you should remain tar. Why? Because there's a roiv of the. But let's decide here. Rav Chizda says we go by the mevatel, we go by the roiv, we go by the kosher. Check this out. Let's do this slowly. The kosher can never become nevela. And all I care about is kosher now. I care about the mevatel. I care about the shark. According to Rav Chizda, I go by the shark, by the larger amount. That's my only focus. I don't care if the nevela could turn non-tameh tomorrow. That's not my focus, because I'm not talking about the batal. I'm only talking about the mevatel. Can kosher ever become non-kosher? In other words, tameh? The answer is no. If the answer is no, then those 3 pieces are what? Min b'minoi, min b'she'enoi minoi. Think about it for a second. It's min b'she'enoi minoi. The Jewish guys are never going to become goyim, and therefore it's 2 different minim. There's the kosher and there's non-kosher, and I don't care. I only look at the mevatel. Can the mevatel turn into nevela? No. So it's 2 different minim. What happens when you have 2 different minim? It overcomes it. It becomes batal. And if I touch the nevela in this case, I'll be tahar. Now you get it? Say there? Okay, let's see it inside. Here, on the chart. Let's do the chart. Rav Chizda says, I'm focused on the mevatel. You see that square over there? It just shows. I'm focused on those guys. Memela what? It remains a min b'she'enoi minoi. Because now we have kosher and nevela. The kosher doesn't flip. So what happens? No, and that's Rav Chanina. There's a little bit of a problem with the charts. Fine. So we could do this. According to Rav Chanina, our focus is on the batal, on the little guy, not on the lad. The little guy, think about it. It's beautiful now. The little guy, the one guy, the treif guy, the nevela, he could turn into kosher. And our focus is on him, not on the 2 guys. Our focus is on the meal. So since he could turn into kosher, meaning he's not tameh, so Memela, it's what? All 3 of them are the same exact min. And if they're the same exact min, they're not batal. And if I touch one of the 3 pieces of meat and I don't know which one I touched, I'll be safek tameh. The opposite of Rav Chizda. Because my focus is on the batal. According to Rav Chizda, my focus is on the mevatel. Says inside, Omer Rav Chizda nevela betela b'shchuta. If I have 2 shchutas and 1 nevela piece, that's this case over here. 2 versus 1. So the 1 guy becomes batal to the 2. Why? Because my focus is on the mevatel guy. And the mevatel guy cannot become a nevela ever. And he's more. He's a min b'she'enoi minoi. He's min b'she'enoi minoi. Min b'she'enoi minoi is mevatel. And therefore, I'm going to take the nevela guy and say that he's oh. Yeah, it's the wrong chart. I just jumped the chart. But you know what just happened there? It became min b'minoi. Very good. It became min b'minoi. How? That guy spoiled. The nevela spoiled. When he's spoiled, he becomes Jewish. He puts on a shrine. He becomes kosher. He becomes not tamei. Now all three of them become the same exact min. When all three of them become the same exact min, counterintuitive, they're not batal. But we just jumped. We're a couple lines before that. And he said, oh, sorry. But if it's the reverse, Rabbi says the reverse, you have one shchuta and two nevelas. I have to find that chart somewhere. Here, like this. You have one shchuta, two nevelas. Now I always go by the mevatel. Check it out. I always go by the mevatel. What's the mevatel now, Rabbi say? It's tricky. What's the mevatel? The nevela, the roiv. The reds are the mevatel now. The reds could flip in to green. So Memela becomes what? Min b'minoi. And min b'minoi cannot become batal.
Even though that they roiv.
Even though they're roiv. Exactly. Everything's mamash afuch al afuch. You have two. Before is the opposite. That's why it's beautiful. No, it's gishmak isogya. It's gishmak. You just, if you don't have these things. Last night I didn't have this. I think this helped a little bit. Just this chart, because you see, it did. For me, it helps. There's a mevatel and there's a bottle. The roiv, it tells you the shark, whatever's the larger piece is always the mevatel. Fine. Yeah, only tuma and only touching tuma and not even picking up tuma. But we're not going to get into that. Only tuma. I don't know if I said a bracha.
You know
Next.
you didn't say a bracha. If you didn't know, you wouldn't make the bracha because it's sorry, was laka.
No, I'm looking at it. It's full.
No, you know you didn't make the bracha. You know you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the person next to me fills me up with geschmack, and then I
You were all full. I didn't have to fill you.
I know, but that could be my mistake. Why is it not batal? Because it becomes a min b'minoi. Because, as we saw before, the roiv is the nevela, and the nevela could flip into according to Rav Chizda, we look only at the mevatel, at the roiv, and the roiv could change, could get spoiled, and turn into what's that?
Rain.
No, it was my voice coming out of the speakers. We had a problem 2 nights ago. Because the nevela could flip into a shchuta, meaning non-tamei. When it spoils parcha tumasa, it changes categories from tamei to not tamei. And the mela becomes, in this case, as you see on the screen, all three of them become the same exact min. And when they're the same exact min, loy bato. Rebbe Chanina Amar, and now we're finally by Rebbe Chanina, which we saw before, but why not? Let's do them again. Rebbe Chanina says we always look at the bottle, not the mevatel. We look at the bottle. Kol she'efshar lo liyos kamayu einoi bottle, v'chol she'efshar lo liyos kamayu bottle. We look at the bottle, and if the bottle in this case, the nevela is the bottle, it's the miut, it's the minority. The minority could change. How? By this, by getting spoiled and turning into non-tamei. So all three of them become the same. They become min b'minoi. They're all the same. And min b'minoi loy bottle, according to Rabbi Yehuda, which we're going to have to see in a second what just happened. The Ramchal says something very interesting. We're just going to throw it out there. He says, if a person ever acted with pure anava, so he can never become a bagaiva. He cannot have real gaiva in him. I'm a little bit of a steer to that, but a shchuta cannot become an avela. If a person is a true anav at one point in his life, he can't become a bagaiva. That's what he says. Zog the Gemara. Ali b'deman, what's just happened there? We're pretending that everybody holds min b'minoi loy batal. According to who? Eli b'derabbanon, the majority rabbanon. We had this yesterday. That 2 korbanos that go on the mizbeach, they don't become batal. But min b'minoi batal. If it's the same min, you could have a bittul. Whatever the majority is, that's what works. Yeah, leave it to Rabbi Yehuda, and if you go according to Rabbi Yehuda basa chazusa azu. There's the song, I said it before, it's flying around America. I heard, somebody came up to tell me that it's the number one song on 36, whatever, on all these different sites. It's 24/6. It's I don't need your Beketcha. Dylan can sing it if you want with me.
No.
I don't need your Beketcha, I don't need your Beketcha, the only thing I need is you. What does it mean? It's murdik. It's, I don't need your chitzonis, the Rebbeinu Shalom says. I don't need your chitzonis, I need your heart. I need the inside. It's not what levush you wear and what pace you have and what beard, it's the inside. But over here, Rabbi Yehuda is mechulek on the song. Rabbi Yehuda basa chazusa azul. Rabbi Yehuda goes. Ich darf dein Beketche. Rabbi Yehuda says, ich darf dein Beketche. Everything else. In other words, he says, I go by the chitzonis, I don't go by halacha. Okay, this is like, no, I don't go by the halacha. I don't look at it. This is an avela halachically. This is a shchuta halachically. I go by the dam. You see by dam that it doesn't matter what kind of dam it is halachically. This is carbon dam, and it's the outside appearance. Okay? Certain things, you go by the outside appearance. So memela, nevela, and shchuta is always the same exact min. Here, you take one of these. It doesn't matter what case it is. You could have two shchuta, one nevela. You could have two nevela, one shchuta. It's always min b'minoi. Nothing changes. They look the same. They look the same. So what's the nafkamina? So what are we talking about over here? Elo, I'll leave it to Rebbe Chia. This must go according to Rebbe Chia. The Torah Rebbe Chia, nevela u'shchuta b'teilo zu bezu. Rebbe Chia says a statement, one is bottled to the other. Which one is bottled to the other? Well, it depends. According to Rav Chizda, we have the nevela here. The nevela is bottled, right? The little guy is bottled into the shchuta. According to Rav Chanina, it's exactly the opposite. The shchuta is bottled into the nevela. But he says one is bottled to the other. But the Gemara continues. Rebbe Chia leave the man, but who does he hold according to? According to Rabbanon, it's nothing to do with, it's only one thing that's not bottled. Two korbanos are not mevatel one another. If you put two minchas onto a mizbeach, one has more oil, one absorbed oil from the others, okay, you put it on. They don't care about min b'minoi. Right? They learned it from a pasuk. Review the graph from the pasuk min b'minoi. They graph from the same exact pasuk oilim ba'oilim, but they don't know how to min b'minoi. How can you make an afkemina and say that the nevela is bottle in the shchuta, but not the shchuta in the nevela? And according to Chanina, the shchuta is bottle in the nevela, but not. It's min b'mina. It's min b'mina is min b'mina. It goes in both directions. Says Gemara loylam, I leave it to Rabbi Yehuda. No, I'm going to say it goes according to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda min b'mina le bottle. When the Rabbi Yehuda say this, when one thing could turn into the other, like a piece of meat, a nevela could turn into halachic shchuta by becoming spoiled, then you say min b'minoi. Bottle. Then literally becomes a min b'sheinu minoi. Think about it. The chassidish piece of meat can never become the non-kosher piece of meat. So it's two different minim. Yeah, they look the same, but they're different. It's min b'sheinu minoi. And then what's the halacha? Bottle.
So why is it a dam bottle? Because blood can't become blood. It should be remain separate and bottle. What? Dam min b'mina.
No questions today, especially good ones. Welcome, Mifligi. Oh, and finally the Gemara puts it all together. Welcome, Mifligi. The Rav Chizda Sovar Basar Mevatel as Linon. Rav Chanina Sovar Basar Batel as Linon. Here the Gemara says straight out. According to Rav Chizda, I go by the mevatel. I only look at him. I focus on him. Can he change? Can he not change? And according to Rav Chanina, I always look at the little guy and say, can he change or not? And finally, Sinan, it says in the Mishnah. And now, what does this have to do with us? All of this complicated stuff, which by the way, we're over with, done, pretty much, is only because we want to prove it from our Mishnah. Can we prove from our Mishnah? Take a look at this. Gishmak. I have a good graphics for this. It says in our Mishnah, you have two menachos. Remember? Here, this case. Two menachos, laying on top of each other, mixed in on top of each other, not the whole thing, the middle part. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to take a kmitza from the right and a kmitza from the left. Ask the Gemara, I'm just going to say about Peh, very, very beautiful. Ask the Gemara, when I took a kmitza from the right, so what happened? The entire mincha on the right became what? Became shirayim. What's the mincha on the left that I didn't take yet? I didn't get a chance to go in and take a kmitza. What is the one on the left called? It's called tevel. There's no kmitza taken. The one on the right should overcome and take a little part off of the left. It should be mevatel's part of the left. It should grab, I don't care how much, a little piece of it. Because if a little piece of the left is missing, you can't do kmitza. How could you say that you should take kmitza from the right and then take kmitza from the left? Once I take kmitza from the right, I made the one on the right shirayim, became green. The one on the left is tevel. So now, the one on the right should be mevatel the one on the left. The one on the right should be considered more. Why more? Even though it's less because it's missing a kmitza. But it's possible that it's laying on top of more. It's more than what it's laying on. At any given point, volume-wise. At the point that they're touching, that's how they explain. The point that they're touching, the green guy, it could have more than the red guy. Could. We didn't say there's enough kamina. Nobody ever told us, oh, it depends if there's more or less. There's a straight out halacha, take a kmitza from the right, take a kmitza from the left. Why shouldn't the right guy overcome and be mevatel some of the red? And once it's mevatel a little bit, even a tiny, even if you're asking to me that it was mevatel, one iota, you can't do kmitza from the left because it's missing a little bit. Yes? Here. Now.
Doesn't the right also get too much more, and also that shouldn't be good? Because you got some of the left.
No, but shirayim. We don't care about shirayim. Once you did kmitza, you're done. You could add to the kmitza. You could add to the shirayim. That's already too late. It's shirayim. It's food for the koyanim. The one on the left is a problem. You can't have more, can't have less. It has to have yisarin. And if you take a little bit off the yisarin on the left, the tevel guy, you can't do kmitza from him. Let's see inside. But the Gemara is going to go deeper here. It depends how I view what overcomes what. What do I look at? The mevatel or the bottle? According to Rav Chizda, I look at mevatel. According to Rav Chanina, I look at the bottle. And that's why I want to bring a raya. So says the Gemara. It says in the Mishnah, if you can do kmitza from both, do it. Share it. If not. As the Gemara given the comes to the once you did kmitza from the right, what does the mean? The other part of that mincha becomes shirayim, the green part, not the other one. The other part becomes shirayim. V'loikom mevatli shirayim l'tivla. No. Time out. V'loikom mevatli shirayim l'tivla. Hold on.
אין השיריים של המנחה מבטל את התבל של המנחה שלא
See in the Mishnah that it's not mevatel,
Right, in the Mishnah, we're asking it should. We're asking it should, and we see in the Mishnah that you don't. Mani, who does it go according to? When you have the same exact min, it can't be according to Rabbanon. This will be a problem according to Rabbanon because they're all the same thing, and one should be mevatel the other. And that's problematic if it's mevatel, then you don't have enough flour dough on the left side. That what? Min b'minoi is not batel. Now, depends. If you go according to Reb Chanina, you go by the minority, you go by the left. Batel avikim mevatel. Oh, Rabbi Isai, check this out. The guy on the left, could he ever be like the guy on the right? Yes. After you do kmitza, it could turn into the right. But the right can never become tevel. The right is like a shchuta. It's already done. You already took the kmitza from him. The right can never become the left. MMA law, Bishlam and the Mandom are Basar, Batal Azlino. We go by the Miut, we go by the one on the left. Batal Avikim Mevatel, and now it's going to be counterintuitive. The left could become like the right, and then it becomes what? Min b'minoi. And if it's min b'minoi, loy batal. And that's why you can take a kmitza from it, because there's no bittul. It's geschmack, Mendy, huh? It's very geschmack. Oh, if you don't understand Pshat, I did this. Hold on. This will explain it to you. Oy, vey. This will explain. That's what I did back then. I have no idea why. Okay. You didn't understand, so we're going to have to go weiter. Once I was looking through my notes. They do sponsors. Turning to the Daf at our global, your one-stop shop for all your financial needs. Isaac Castle, in honor of all them, the white Daffers in South Florida, we shall all be Zoicha. Matzliach Baruch Nisu V'Gashmis, anonymous in memory of Moshe Ben Peretz for Yard Side Chav Zayin Shvat. And L'Mandom Basam and Vatal Azlinon. But if we go with the green guy, the one on the right, Shirayim Miko Havetivla. The right can never become Tevel because you already took it. And therefore what? It's Min Bisha Eidominoi. Min Bisha Eidominoi is Mevatel. And if it's Mevatel, if the green is Mevatel a little bit from the red, how could you take Mitzvah from the red? So maybe it doesn't go according to Reb Chia. Rav Chizda and Reb Chia. Rav Chizda is the one that says we go by the Mevatel. In Reb Chia, it's hard on Rav Chizda. In Reb Chia. Says Gemara, no, you know what? Hasn't get the Reb Zera, there's a Zeres HaKasav that you can't, one thing can't be Mevatel the other. It says in the Pasuk, Nemra Aktor B'koimetz, V'nemra Aktor B'shirayim, Maktor Amur B'koimetz, Ein HaKoimetz Mevatel S'chaveroi. Just like by Kmitza, if you have two Kmotzim that fell into one pot, one doesn't overcome the other. You put both of them onto the mizbeach. We have a pasuk that you can't do this. I think we should stop here. I know it's very easy to finish. It's all the same. What are we going to do? Go over? We're not going to get to the bottom. You know what? Let's do 2 more minutes. Tashma, it says in the Mishnah that you have a kmitza that got mixed in with another mincha that you didn't take kmitza from. Lo yakter vim hikter zusha nikmitza also lebailim v'zusha lo nikmitza lo also lebailim. If you put it into the oven, you put it on the mizbeach. You got the kmitza done. V'lo ikim avadalei tivla lekoimet mani. It wasn't the mincha that didn't have a kmitza doesn't become batal. Now, according to who's this? The same question we had 3 times already. According to Rabbanon, they only say 2 menachos don't go. But over here, the tevel doesn't go on, and it should be mevatel the kmitza. Hamim b'minoi batal. Elapshita Rabbi Yehuda, and same question, same answer. If you go according to the mevatel, according to Rav Chizda now is good. Why? Mevatel avikibatel, the tevel, you could do a kmitza to the tevel, and it'll be like the bottle. The kolport the chazan mikmatz, you could do kmitza from anywhere. Vavli min in parentheses. Vavli min uminoi umimina loy bottle. Once it could change into the tevel, could change into kmitza, then it becomes the same exact thing, and if it becomes the same exact thing, you cannot become bottle, and therefore you should take a kmitza from the left side. But according to Reb Chanina, now the question is Reb Chanina. You go by the kmitza. But the kmitza can never become tevel. Maybe it's a problem according to Reb Chanina and Reb Chia. This also goes according to Reb Zera that says you cannot be mevatel a kmitza. Rabbi, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.